In the history of warfare, the siege is usually a binary affair. There is the besieger and there is the besieged, the hunter and the trapped. But in September of 52 BC, on a plateau in modern-day Burgundy, Julius Caesar found himself in a position that defied all conventional military logic. He had trapped the leader of the Gallic resistance, Vercingetorix, inside the hill fort of Alesia. But Caesar himself was also trapped. A relief army, estimated by the Romans at 250,000 warriors, was marching to crush him against the city walls. To retreat was political suicide. To attack the city was military suicide. So Caesar did the only thing his mind could conceive. He didn't just build a wall to keep the enemy in. He built a second wall, facing the other way, to keep the world out. He built a donut of wood and earth occupying the empty space in the middle. It was an act of supreme engineering arrogance. This is the story of the Battle of Alesia. To understand the desperation of Alesia, we must understand the year that preceded it. 52 BC was not a year of conquest for Rome. It was a year of survival. The Gauls, often dismissed in Roman literature as disorganized barbarians, had found a genius in Vercingetorix. He was a nobleman of the Arverni tribe who understood that he could not beat the Roman legions in a pitched battle. Instead, he used a scorched earth strategy. He burned his own people's crops. He cut supply lines. He starved the Roman machine. He forced Caesar into a chase, luring him eventually to the oppidum of Alesia. It looked like a perfect defensive position for the Gauls, a high plateau surrounded by river valleys, stocked with 80,000 men. Vercingetorix believed he was safe, but he had miscalculated one thing: the sheer industrial capacity of the Roman legionary. Caesar arrived and immediately refused to assault the heights. Instead, he unpacked the shovels. If you are a student of history, you know that a Roman soldier was as much a construction worker as he was a warrior, but Alesia was their masterpiece. Caesar ordered the construction of a line of circumvallation, a wall 11 miles long intended to lock Vercingetorix inside. But before the loop was closed, Gallic cavalry broke out and rode for help. Caesar knew the clock was ticking. The relief force was coming. So he ordered a second line, the line of contravallation, facing outward, 13 miles of perimeter. Between these two walls, Caesar's army lived. But walls alone do not stop 250,000 angry Gauls. What Caesar engineered in front of those walls was a nightmare of area denial. Imagine for a moment standing in the mud outside that wall. First, you face 20-foot trenches with vertical sides designed to break the momentum of a charge. Behind those, the cipi, thick branches sharpened to a point, interwoven so they couldn't be uprooted. Then came the lilies, pits dug 3 feet deep, concealing sharpened stakes hardened by fire, covered with brush. If a man stepped on one, the stake would pierce the foot and impale the leg. And finally, the stimuli, iron hooks set into logs buried in the ground, designed to snag and tear at the boots and flesh of attackers. It was a kill zone, a meat grinder prepared in advance. Caesar had turned the battlefield into a machine, and he was waiting to flip the switch. In late September, the relief force arrived. Caesar claims it was 250,000 men. Even if we temper that number for Roman propaganda, the Romans were outnumbered at least 4-1. The psychological pressure was immense. Inside the city, the Gauls were starving. They had expelled the Mandubi tribe, hoping Caesar would take them in as slaves.
Caesar, calculating and cold, refused. He let them starve in the no-man's land between the walls. We often look at maps and arrows, but we must remember the human reality in the trenches. For 3 weeks, the Roman legionaries slept in their armor. They ate cold rations in the mud, surrounded by the stench of death from the no-man's land, waiting for the inevitable scream of the Gallic horns. The attack came on 2 fronts. The outer wall was slammed by the relief force, while Vercingetorix stormed down from the hill to hit the inner wall. For days, the Romans fought back to back. They were running on adrenaline and discipline. The German cavalry, mercenaries hired by Caesar, proved critical in repelling the initial skirmishes. But the Gauls were observant. They spotted a weakness. To the north, a hill called Mount Rea obstructed the line of the Roman wall, forcing a gap in the fortifications. 60,000 of the best Gallic warriors were sent to hammer this point. This was the breaking point. The Roman line at Mount Rea began to crumble. If the wall was breached, the legions would be slaughtered to a man. Labienus, Caesar's most trusted lieutenant, held the line, but he was overwhelmed. He sent a messenger to Caesar, "We are finished unless you come." Caesar grabbed his scarlet cloak, the pulidamentum, so that his men would instantly recognize him. He gathered 4 cohorts and a handful of cavalry and rode directly into the fray. In the commentaries, it tells us that a cheer went up from the Roman lines when they saw the red cloak flashing through the chaos. The sight of their general fighting alongside them stiffened their spines. At the same time, Caesar ordered his cavalry to leave the fortifications, ride around the perimeter, and hit the Gallic relief force from the rear. It is the oldest rule in warfare. Panic is contagious. When the Gauls attacking the wall felt the cavalry hit their backs, they shattered. The relief force, so close to victory, dissolved into a rout. Inside the city, Vercingetorix watched his hope evaporate. The relief force had fled. The traps were filled with the dead. He knew it was over. What happened next would echo through history. The following day, the gates of Alesia opened. Vercingetorix, the king of the Arverni, rode out alone. He did not plead. He circled the Roman camp, dismounted, and threw his armor at Caesar's feet. The clank of the armor hitting the ground echoed across the silent field, the sound of Gaul itself surrendering. He was taken in chains to Rome, kept in a dungeon for 6 years, and eventually strangled during Caesar's triumph. Today, the site of Alesia is a quiet field in France. A statue of Vercingetorix stands there, erected by Napoleon III, looking out over the valley. But beneath the grass lie the remnants of the most audacious feat of siege engineering in antiquity. In an age of drone warfare and satellite intelligence, it is worth remembering that Caesar achieved the impossible with nothing but human ingenuity, wood, and dirt. Caesar didn't just build walls that day, he built the foundation of the Roman Empire.